Bleh. Somewhere in one of the many things that I've read about the Ramones, this notion that it had gotten so bad between Johnny and Joey that they would literally use an intermediary in front of, like, tell Joey this, tell Johnny this within earshot, meaning that they could hear each other talking, but they couldn't talk directly. Is there any, can you speak to
I
this? Is there
couldn't tell
any,
you because
you
by
don't know?
that time they wouldn't do that in the dressing room. People say they did that in the van, and
Right.
I never was around when the two of them were in the van or like,
Right.
I can't attest to that. But Monty says this and Monty says that and Mark says this and I don't know who do you believe.
I'm just trying to make sense of what's up and what's down.
Right.
And
I
it's
mean,
just,
I don't doubt that they did some things like that sometimes. Monty asked Joey if he maybe it wasn't. I'm sorry, Jeff. I really don't know.
it invokes many different emotions, right? Like on many different levels. But there is like sort of from like if you're outside of that, if you're outside of all that, just sort of reading about it as a fan, there's a slight sort of like tinge of amusement of almost like, is this
Oh,
really
it's
happening?
kind of funny.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, a little bit, but at the same time, I'd imagine if, being more inside or more, around it all the time, it might not be that way. So I want to, be aware of that as well. But just like sort of reading about this and just like kind of chuckling to myself, like, was this these guys like what? Like,
I
how
don't
are
know
you gonna, I
who
don't know.
did stuff like that.
Right.
No, I guess little kids, right?
Yeah, well, or bandmates that are, it's like it's a band, but it's also they're not blood related, but they all have the last name, and it's like we're a happy family, me, mommy, and daddy. It's like that kind of
Right.
whatever.
But it's more like, when you're your children and you're at home and, tell Joey he can't play with my game.
That's why it's like funny and ridiculous, and also
Right.
like, could this really? I mean, these guys they're in this venture together, But there's a wonderful clip on Howard Stern that I really love. I'm sure you've seen that clip.
No.
When they were all together the last time, and Howard says to Johnny, he's like,
And you look
Johnny,
at
look
it.
at Joey. Yeah, look at Joey. And Johnny's like, Johnny's got like this half
Yeah.
smile. You can tell it's kind of a joke, but it's also kind of serious. He's like, and he makes them turn to each other
Right.
and like admire, like admit, that like, hey, like, thanks for being in the Ramones with me, and like that we did this thing together or something or whatever. It's
Did
kind of
they?
nice.
I don't remember them saying anything to each other.
No, yeah, they like turn and like they acknowledge each other in the clip. They like, there's some words spoken.
I
They're sitting
remember
next to each
Mark
other.
said something like, I want to thank Johnny for keeping the band going all
Sure,
these years.
sure.
And my brother said, Mark's a real ass kisser.
Yeah, there, and then that was also, I don't know if that was before or after they had, I mean, Howard really like stoked the fire between
Oh,
those
yeah.
two.
Well, that's his
Another
job.
thing yeah, but that before that or was that afterwards? I can't remember. That I don't remember.
Before,
When Howard was antagonizing both of them to fight each other
oh,
on
right.
over the phone, was that before or was that after that when they were all together for the last? That was the last time they were all together. Those guys.
Was it?
Hey, you would know better than me, but as far as I understand, that was the last time that those
I
guys were
thought they did
together.
some kind of record store appearance and or
That was
something.
part of that, but I think that
Oh,
was all part of that because it was for "We're Out of Here." They were promoting the
right.
"We're Out of Here," which was the final Ramon show, obviously.